2, 1.
7 things you probably didn't know you need to know. I'm Jamie East, and this is the Smart 7.
Good morning, everybody. It's Friday the 1st of October, and it's International Coffee Day. And a big happy birthday to Julie Andrews, Larry Lamb, Theresa May, and Emerald Fennell.
7.
Thursday saw a Met police officer who abducted and murdered Sarah Everard sentenced to a whole life prison term. The judge described the circumstances of his crime as grotesque and said that he didn't see any sign of genuine contrition, which is why he imposed a full life sentence. The officer was apparently known to some of his colleagues as the rapist, and a full inquiry into who knew about him and when is now underway. Senior Labour MP Harriet Harman has called for Met Police Commissioner Dame Cressida Dick to resign. The Commissioner has apologised to Sarah's family and the public.
I recognise that for some people a precious bond of trust has been damaged. Our dedication to you, our public, remains undiminished. There are no words that can fully express the fury and overwhelming sadness that we all feel about what happened to Sarah. I am so sorry.
Home Secretary Priti Patel says there are serious questions to be answered, but continues to back the Commissioner.
It is right that we constantly hold the police to account with regards to the whole issue around the fact that he was a serving police officer. There are questions, serious questions, that will need to be answered by the Metropolitan Police.
The government's pandemic furlough scheme officially closed on Thursday, even though 1 million workers are still to return to work and many businesses have not yet returned to normal. Chancellor Rishi Sunak says he's confident about the future, even as the scheme wraps up.
As I look back, I'm really proud of the furlough scheme and proud of what it accomplished, which was protecting millions of people's jobs up and down the country at a really difficult time. Even though the furlough scheme is ending today, we are not done supporting people, and that's why we have a plan for jobs, which is focused on providing people with the skills and the opportunities they need to find fantastic work.
Sir Keir Starmer says that while furlough did need to come to an end, there are still sectors that really do need support.
I don't argue with the fact that it's got to come to an end and probably got to come to an end now. I would extend it, or at least give support in those areas like aviation where there are still restrictions. So with the best will in the world, those sectors can't get back to full capacity because there's government restrictions. It needs to be a bit more crafted to fit the circumstances we're in.
The US Congress finally managed to kick the can down the road on Thursday night on the debt ceiling, avoiding a government shutdown until at least December the 3rd. The Senate also held the first of a series of hearings on Facebook, with a whistleblower due to testify next week about what they call the toxic effect of the social network on young users. It comes as Facebook has shelved a proposed Instagram for kids. Facebook's global head of policy, Antigone Davis, was asked about the addictive nature of social media.
I disagree with calling our product addictive. I also think that's not how we build products.
She was also under pressure about what data the company collects, particularly on younger users.
Does Facebook or Instagram collect personally identifiable information specific to individual children under the age of 13? Is your answer no?
Respectfully, Senator, we do not allow children under the age of 13
That's not the question that I'm asking.
The Youth for Climate conference has been going on this week in Milan as part of the build-up to the COP26 climate summit in Glasgow, which starts on November the 1st. Greta Thunberg spoke earlier this week.
There is no planet B. There is no planet blah, 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 blah.
Thursday evening saw Boris zoom into the meeting, and he asked the young folk to keep the pressure on when they return home if there's going to be any significant movement on climate change at the summit.
If you can keep talking to the politicians and the business leaders where you live about this issue and why you care about it and why we must have action, then what I'm saying to you is we can turn this thing around.
Still to come on the Smart 7, Dave Grohl talks corn dogs and Harry Kane has his scoring boots on right after this.
You're listening to the Smart 7. If you're enjoying it, you might also like the Smart 7 Ireland edition. Just search and follow us on your favourite podcast platform.
3,
There was another round of Europa League action last night which saw Celtic lose 4-0 at home to Bayer Leverkusen, Rangers lose 1-0 away to Sparta Prague and Leicester lose 1-0 to Legia Warsaw. West Ham continue their good European form with a 2-0 win over Rapid Vienna to the delight of Declan Rice, who scored in both games so far.
You know, as players, we knew tonight how big it actually was and we had to put on a performance. We had to win as well, and of course, I don't know about the other result, but we want to top this group. That's all we want to do.
And in the slightly less glamorous Europa Conference League, Spurs took on Slovenian side Mura and came away 5-1 winners with a hat-trick from substitute Harry Kane, who was pleased to be back scoring.
Like I say, I probably wasn't expecting to come on today, but it was nice to get those minutes, and whenever you see the ball hit the back of the net, it's always a good feeling, so hopefully we can take that into the weekend now.
Dave Grohl's one of the world's best-loved rock stars as the lead singer and driving force behind the Foo Fighters, but way back in the early 90s he was the drummer in Nirvana. He spoke to BBC Breakfast and told the story of how he and Kurt Cobain survived on gas station food while they wrote and recorded the songs that went on to become Nevermind.
We lived in a tiny apartment. I slept on the couch, Kurt slept in the room, and we had no money, so we didn't have food, but we did have 99 cents a day. And if you could manage to sort of budget 3 corn dogs in a 24-hour period, you could survive on that. And we did. I mean, what we really survived on was the music. That's the thing, is that, if we didn't have those songs, or we didn't have that band, or didn't have the music, I think everyone would have just packed up and went home.
There's a new movie on the way which tackles an unusual subject. It's species dysphoria, where someone believes they are in fact an animal trapped in a human body. It's called Wolf and stars George McKay, Lily Rose Depp and Paddy Considine. It's set in a clinic called The Zoo, where those with species dysphoria are treated. Think One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, in which someone actually thinks they're the cuckoo. It's due to hit cinemas this December.
Once upon a time, there was a wolf and a wildcat. I wanted to live happily ever after.
It's not just about surviving, but surviving is me.
Do you really think you can have a life with that boy? But life is no fairy tale. Is it?
This has been The Smart 7. Wherever you're listening, do us a favour and hit the follow button. We'll be back tomorrow at 7 a.m. Have a great day.
Produced and published by Daft Doris.